I did some good shots, he did some good shots, and in the end, well, it was actually the first time I saw that he's human. I think maybe that was the match I needed to even find the right gear for the next match.
Felt good, the match went good. I played good, except for that 1-6 ball, but it happens. Just hoping for another chance, and if I get another chance, I can't give it back again, because one more mistake, I would probably for sure lose from there.
I know him from the Mosconi Cup. I played him at least 4 or 5 times already.
We've always went hill-hill, but it was an alternate break, so who knows.
I'm gonna win this time, and it's gonna be a good battle, I think.
Final match of the afternoon session, and to talk you through it, Carl Boyes and Phil Yates.
Thanks again, Tom. This is the closing quarter-final, and we might well have reserved the best for last. One thing we do know, if Albin Ouschan wins it, and he's won the lag.
Ouschan wins the lag.
If Ouschan comes through, it is an all-European semi-final lineup.
Yeah, that would be pretty extraordinary. I'm sure you couldn't have predicted
First rack,
that.
race to 7, winner breaks. Albin Ouschan to break.
Very serious, composed, concentrated player, Albin Ouschan.
Lost the cue ball a little bit on the break. There you see it coming down to the left with a bit of topspin on it. Causes it to spin forward. 2 ball tied up, so no real easy starter here.
Extension called.
Yeah, he's in a difficult little spot here, it looks like. He's trying to play the 2 ball off the top rail to miss the 7 off a couple of rails to send it back down the table. Oh, I know he could play that way. I think he was just more concerned at the pace he had to play it. He couldn't get the cue ball behind the brown 7. He's actually played a very good shot there to see a good line of that. They're trying to swerve it round and hit it half ball to separate the balls, hit it a bit full. Not quite got the snooker. Trying to get the 2 ball in the line path of the 9. And he can hit it full. There you see the spin on the cue ball. Good pace.
By and large, I was very impressed with Skyler Woodward against Fedor Gorst last night. The last player through to the quarterfinals, hoping to be the last player through to the semi-finals.
I'll tell you what, that's a great shot. Such a hard shot to play. He's cued that so well. You've got to, you can see the spin kind of disappear on the cue ball as it gets close to the object ball. That's the only way you can get it to stay up there. Brilliant safety shot that is.
It's a really hard nut, isn't he, Albin?
Yeah, he never gives much away. A few years ago, though, he was a different kind of character. You know, he used to throw his cue about a bit and punch the table and really show his emotions. Again, a very good effort there. We're just trying to. He's hit the 2-ball perfect. Just lacked a little bit of pace, but you know, so hard to judge. So another good kick shot. Skyler's very knowledgeable with these type of shots and very good safety player and playing some really good stuff at the minute off the back of his MVP at the Mosconi. That's what got him into this event.
And that shot is what has got him into trouble.
One thing's for certain, you're not going to see many bad safeties in this match. Both high up there in the safety department. He was actually trying to make the 2-ball in the side there.
Start the clock, please.
So a few good safety shots. Actually wasn't a million miles off. It's one of them things where it can make you look a bit silly because people think, how's he missed that? But when you see it back on the replay, he's only just missed it. And the connection might have actually potted the 2. And Phil Albin, he dodged a bit of a bullet in the last match, it does have to be said. The current world 9-ball champion, missing that glorious opportunity.
Yes, and the player in question, Phil, is actually watching this match with his wife, Pia.
I'm sure he's enjoying sat there watching this, knowing it should have been him.
Well, he was in, wasn't he? A little bit of hampered cueing, in fairness. And he overcut the 6-ball. And talking of the 6, that's next in line in this rack. After what should be an absolute formality of a 4.
Gonna play it with a bit of pace though. There you go, played it well.
In my mind, I was giving him that one because he's such a dependable character.
We've not mentioned his sister actually. I'm surprised that's not come up. His sister, Albin Ouschan, one of the top female players.
Well, funnily enough, I thought about that last night when we were doing that commentary and we were talking about the lady players who could be in that tournament, and we didn't mention her, which was a bad oversight on my part.
Yeah, we didn't mention it, yeah. I mean, Yasmin, she can definitely compete with the men. She's actually beat Darren Appleton twice in tournaments.
And she's also represented Austria in the World Cup of Pool. As indeed, of course, on many occasions, has a kid brother, Albin, who's about to take this first rack, you would assume.
In And you know, when she plays, Phil, she plays very fierce. She looks fierce when she's playing. Albin looks relaxed, and he'll be relaxed seeing this 9-ball disappear.
He played the safety, the hook on the 2. Woodward tried to chip it into the middle pocket, made no contact whatsoever. And from there, it was all Albin Ouschan. So Skyler Woodward, the European killer at the Mosconi Cup, with 5 wins out of 6 matches, to win, as Carl Boyes has told us, the MVP award. But he's got his hands full today. Ouschan, to me, seems absolutely zoned in. We talked about his win over Joshua Filler in the last 16 last night. In the first round, it was a comprehensive result. He defeated the lone Filipino in the field, Jeffrey De Luna, 7-2. 3 break and run-outs on that occasion, on a day when the table wasn't breaking as easily as it is now.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I just think it's more of a case of players and the referee finding the feet, figuring it out.
Thank you, rack 2. Albin Ouschan to break. Leading 1 rack to 0.
Definitely making more balls now. Albin breaking from the right-hand side of the table as we view it. Great control with a cue ball. Gets kissed a couple of times. Nothing you can do about that.
There's no doubt Conley's calmed down as a character. Grown up, hasn't he? Sometimes it never happens. You get players who are volatile and likely to go off the handle throughout their careers. But he's become a lot more mature, as indeed has Woodward.
Yeah, naming no names. Earl. Yeah, very difficult shot there off the rail, thin into the blind pocket. Skyler's left with a thin one. Makes it though, brilliant shot, nice result there.
One of those shots that deserved a good result. Very well executed.
Yeah, he's good at that type of shot. I've seen him play a few, especially in the Mosconi, where it's really thin up the rail. He does pot a lot of them type of shots.
Before the start of this match, Albin Ouschan was on the practice table just knocking a few balls around, trying to just loosen up. Woodward was also in the practice room, sitting there quietly, gathering his thoughts.
Now he just wants to pop this, and he'll be hitting the second rail over to where he stood, because the orange 5 goes in the middle. That's perfect. Has to be said, Phil, Skyler looks super confident.
The last remaining North American in the field. The last remaining non-European. Tell you what though, he has got the credentials to win the whole shebang. He's back on level terms. The man from Paducah, Kentucky. It was asking a lot to pot that particular one ball. But this one ball wasn't a gimme by any means. Knocked him with aplomb, and from there, he made it look easy. The great state of Kentucky, Carl, is well known for sport. It's held a Ryder Cup in the past in Louisville. Obviously, everyone associates it with the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. Another great horse racing track there is Keeneland. And they love their basketball in Kentucky as well. Now, though, thanks to Skyler Woodward, pool is on the map. And that is Fedor Gorst on the left, the victim of Skyler Woodward in the last 16 last evening. The 18-year-old from Russia. Mark my words, you'll hear a lot about him in the not-too-distant future.
Cue rack 3, Skyler Woodward to break, 1-1.
Yeah, I believe Fedor Gorst and Skyler are very friendly, good friends off the table, so that's why he's watching this one. Now we get to have a look at Skyler's match. He needs this to hold up to have a shot, and it has done, so he's certainly got some form of shot.
I said he was born in Paducah. It's a pity, actually, he wasn't born in Louisville, because the famous product of that city is the baseball bat, the Louisville Slugger, and that would be a great nickname for a pool player.
Yeah, it would. Now, he can pot this in the middle. I'm not so sure if it passes the 8. Can't really tell. If it does, he will play it past the 8, of course. But he has also got a really sort of... Well, there you see it flies past. It's funny how the overhead camera makes it look like it doesn't go. And then it's there as well, centre of the pocket. Oh, and this is well judged and all. Speed to perfection. They can be a little bit funky, them shots. And in a matter of minutes, it's looking like 2-1. He doesn't hang about, does he, Phil? Does Skyler? He likes to get on with it.
Love watching him play. We always knew he had the talent. I think what happened at the Ali Pali back in December, the way he helped out the USA to such a large extent, has enabled him to really grow on the international stage as an individual. He shrugged off the loss of the opening rack, and now Skyler Woodward is 2-1 ahead. The way he's playing, the Skyler is the limit. More from this final quarter-final at the Dafabet World Pool Masters coming up in just a moment. Three pieces of the semi-final jigsaw at the Dafabet World Pool Masters are in place. There's just one more to be affixed, and right now Skyler Woodward is in the ascendancy, just against Albin Ouschan. 2-1 up and breaking off in rack 4.
There you see the wing ball.
And right at the end of the break, they called the little nudge from 4 onto 2 has done him a favour. Here it is. Very kind.
Yeah, just knocks it over, and then now don't know if he can pop this 2 and get round the back of the 4. He can, and he's gone round the back of the 3, so that was kind of useful. And one thing's for certain, he won't be hanging around on this finish either. Imperative you land low on the 5 because of where the 7 is. You don't want to be going around the angles. Look at this, he's inch perfect. Again, that makes this shot 10 times easier.
Well, basically, again, another example there. He's in control of the white, and he's in control of himself, and that's a powerful combination.
One thing's for certain, when you're playing the Mosconi Cup and you play well and get points, you can play anywhere.
Yes, you become mentally armour-plated.
Doesn't, and that's when your B game has to try and come into play.
Okay, rack 5. Skyler Woodward to break, leading 3 racks to 1.
Word of caution, though. His fellow American and friend Shane Van Boening led 3-0 this afternoon against David Al-Kadi. Didn't add a rack to his side of the scoreboard afterwards. Mind you, things are going really well for Woodward. The gap is there between 3 and 7. The one is on.
Do you know, it's a good point what you touched on, Phil. At the end of the day, one little error can change a match so much, so it's still important that, you know, you stay concentrated and you don't make any silly errors. But he's certainly getting the opportunities at the minute. Now he's just got to make sure he doesn't mess around with the 8 ball. Don't want to be flicking that, because that will halt position for the 3. Just be playing with a bit of right and spin. And there you see, perfect again. This has been a clinic so far of cue ball control. You certainly don't see him missing either. Played Skyler in the US Open a couple of years back, and I got the victory, but he used to miss a few long balls then, and somebody was telling me that he grew up playing on the bar table, which is like a 7-foot size table, and I think in recent times he plays more pool on the 9-foot table, which is obviously going to help him, and it's helping him today.
Conquering the dimensions here, and now more than halfway to a place in the semi-finals. Just breaking and running and being relentless. Another rack over, very quickly indeed. Top gear stuff, Cole.
Yeah, and what we have seen today is we've seen players being froze out the match, haven't we? Not getting many opportunities, and we're seeing it again. Albin missed a tricky one ball, and he sat and watched since, but this is what happens when two giants collide.
Back in January, at one of the busiest tournaments, it's possible to imagine, the Derby City Classic in southern Indiana, Skyler Woodward was the master of the table. That's determined by points gained in 9-ball, bank pool, and the one-pocket division. To win that, you've got to be pretty nifty. He won the $25,000 there, and in this match, he's been the master of the table in another sense.
Rack 6. Skyler Woodward to break,
Inspecting the
leading
rack
4
there.
racks to 1.
Nigel Rees, our referee, very experienced. Doesn't often give you a bad rack. Wing ball disappears. Cue ball. Controls it perfect in the middle of the table. Looks like he's got some form of shot on the one ball. Might be a little thin one, but you know, it's a shot. Yeah, he's just, the 7 ball's kind of in its way. Feels like he's going to connect the 7, the brown 7. Just looking if he can hit the 7 and hold the cue ball around there. Can he pot the 2 if that's what? He's missed the 7. And it's probably run a little bit too far. But at least he's got a shot on this blue 2.
Extension called.
Just having a quick look because cue ball control very difficult, as well as the pot. Yeah, it wasn't easy, and they were worried about the cue ball, and it's his first mistake in this match.
And that is a welcome relief for Albin Ouschan, who's been spending an awful lot of time sitting down.
Extension called.
One thing's for sure, you won't see Albin rushing around the table. He plays a lot slower, more methodical. playing for the 3 ball in the bottom left pocket, but misjudged the line the cue ball was taking, which is at the 9, and he's landed on it in the middle, so a little bit fortunate. Looks a pretty good angle. And we've seen many a match turn around, haven't we, Phil? So
yes, a 4-1 deficit for Ouschan will not be intimidatory. He knows it's a position he can retrieve. Skyler Woodward's 4-rack winning run is broken. Ouschan regains a spot of momentum. Good match this, high quality, exactly what we expected. 4-2 to Woodward.
Thank you, rack 7. Albin Ouschan to break, training 2 racks to 4.
Ouschan and Woodward are serving up some good pool in this last quarter-final of the Dafabet World Masters. Ouschan looking to kick on.
again, good cue ball control, very consistent at that. And he hasn't got a clear pot at the 2, but there is an option of a bank shot, cross bank. And the downside with him playing this shot is he's got to get on the red 3 ball. But the bank's definitely on, so I see him taking it on. He's going to play it quite hard. Cue ball, pace, everything. It's a big 7 ball. It's got to hold up, and it's perfect. Lovely shot.
We haven't had a preponderance of banks in this tournament. That one, though, was an absolute peach.
You see the cue ball. We'll get a replay of the cue ball at some point. You can see it arc and swerve off the bottom rail.
You're right about Ouschan's pace of play, very sedate, isn't it? Nothing rushed whatsoever, without a shot clock. He's very methodical. The introduction of the shot clock means he maybe plays a little faster than normal. leading 4-1. Skyler Woodward was absolutely flying, but then he missed a tricky 2-ball. And ever since, Ouschan has made his presence felt.
Yeah, we did mention this before. These matches can soon swing round. You see it a lot. And he's a couple of balls away from pulling another rack back, and it'll be 4-3 with Albin to break. He's got to just take a bit of care on this one though. Good shot.
The gap narrows. Skyler Woodward was seemingly in command, but then one small error, and all of a sudden, Ouschan is right back in this. 4-3. He's building up a very good CV as Albin Ouschan. And one of the reasons is he's become a really good shot maker. Like that, look at the way the cue ball reacted. You could not wish for a better outcome. Multiple winner of the Austrian National Championships in 8-ball, 10-ball, straight pool, 9-ball, you name it. And this afternoon, well, that run of statistics shows just how high quality the match has been. One missed pot. And that was the 2 from Woodward. Maybe the turning point 2 in rack number 6. No dry breaks. Quality all the way.
Yeah, you don't get many dry breaks off a TV's Nigel Rees rack.
Thank you, rack 8. Albin Ouschan to break.
And
Trading 3
it
racks
was a
to
very
4.
difficult shot Skyler had on the 2. By no means a gimme. So even though it's a missed pot, it's not like, you know, missing a hanger. Let's watch the cue ball on this break. So good at parking it is Albin. It's not very often he loses it. But he's shaking his head, so that tells me the 2 doesn't go, or the cue ball might be sat on the 3.
Immediately after the break-off, players have got 60 seconds to determine what they have to do, and that extra time is coming in very useful here because this is a real head-scratcher.
Extension called.
And even the 60 seconds isn't enough. Another 30 seconds added on with the extension.
Possible option of a bank shot, but he's got to screw the white ball. He's got to draw the cue ball. Yeah, to avoid the double hit. But what he has done is he's fluked it in the middle of 3 rails. Look at this one.
Okay, Cole, tell us, when you're on the receiving end of something like that, it must be such a blow.
Yeah, you kind of just laugh to yourself and think, why me? What an important... Now then, I'm convinced. Did the 4-ball not go? I just presumed the 4 went. I weren't really looking. I do apologise. I thought the 4-ball went past the 8, Phil.
I think the shot choice tells us it didn't. He's put himself in a bind here.
Yeah, he's kicking at this 4 now. He is trying to pot the 4 down the rail. And he hasn't, but he's had second best prize there. Oh, this is a delightful safety shot, you know. It really is. Safety shot of the day.
When you've had a couple of pieces of bad luck in quick succession go against you, sometimes the mind says, I feel aggrieved. I might make a mistake here somewhere. Instead, Woodward was resolute and he caught that on the nose.
He's running out of time, so he's got to be quick. He's made a good hit, but he has left it for Skyler. Off the wonderful safety shot of Skyler, he give himself this chance.
And the way he potted in building that 4-1 lead, hard to imagine he's going to mess this up.
And
having said that, I'm just about okay. I'm just about okay.
Oh, wow, he's played a bit of a loose one there, but you'll be pleased to see that one turn out all right. That truly would have been the commentator's curse, that one.
Woodward back with a 2-rack gap at 5-3, and that despite the fact that Albin Ouschan had one outrageous fluke early in rack 8. Ouschan feeling it. The opportunity was there to draw level.
Sorry, Phil. I can only think it went because he's so fuming with himself. If he had to break it out, does it go? Well, he's fluked the 2. Maybe it doesn't go. I think that goes past the 8, you know, Phil.
We talk a lot about luck, but when you have it, you've got to take advantage, and Ouschan knows he didn't. Cardinal sin. So Woodward 5-3 ahead. And very importantly, he has rested the break back. He's breaking in rack number 9, and the way he has been breaking, it could spell disaster for Ouschan. The American just coming to inspect the rack.
Thank you, rack 9. Skyler Woodward to break, leading 5 racks to 3.
So we're back to Skyler's break, and it's 5-3. Another good break. 1 ball looks like it's heading towards the pocket, but it falls up short.
Yes, just look at this one. Another couple of inches pace, and that would have been absolutely ideal.
Yet again, if the cue ball was in the middle of the table, you could pot this one ball, but because he lost control of it, he doesn't have a shot.
Extension called.
No real obvious shot to lock Albin up. So much so, he's looking at the kick shot. Trying to hit 2 cushions, didn't connect the second cushion.
Got the consolation though.
Just shows you he is thinking quite clear though. I mean, it's very attacking, but it is a very makeable kick shot. You see, he just doesn't, he wanted to hit the top rail, but he hit the one first. Hitting the top rail makes the pocket a bit bigger because you're coming in at a better angle. As you said, Phil, not left a pot. This is a thin one. Nearly perfect. Good effort.
The last thing Ouschan wants is to see his opponent climb to the hill.
Similar shot for Skyler. He needs his cue ball to run on, because if it doesn't, he will leave a pot. I'm not sure if he's left a pot, but he might be able to jump over the edge of the green 6, or possibly spin it in with a bit of left.
Extension called.
One of those matches where nothing is coming easy for Ouschan. Somewhat hampered bridging here because of the 2.
Yeah, he's actually gone for his break cue because he feels like he's going to get better control, but he needs to stop the cue ball in a similar line that he's on. Oh, wow. He's hit that too good. He's drawn the cue ball all the way back. Now, the full length cue can do that. So maybe there was a case for using the short jump cue because you didn't have to come all the way back. Now he's gone for the short cue, taking off the piece, throws that on the floor next to his cue. That's been chucked on the floor as well. Another jump shot. Wowzers. There's cues all over the arena. Balls flying around.
2 jumps in succession.
When cue ball's so close to an object ball like that, you have to use the short version of the jump cue. And this is still not easy. Quite thin, and there's no extension. Yeah, and he's kind of rushed it. Cue ball's gone in off, and he's not a fast player, is he? He'd have loved his extension there.
Start the clock, please.
And it doesn't matter how often you've played with the shot clock, when you get under pressure, sometimes you do forget it's there. And I think that was a case in point. Forgot about the shot clock until it was a little too late.
Yeah, and it's a huge rack in this match because this will put Skyler Woodward on the hill. And then Albin Ouschan is at the point of no return. Played a couple of fantastic jump shots to give himself an opportunity there as well. But just lacked a bit of time.
You see, that's the gamble you take when you take your extension early in the rack. Don't leave yourself any wiggle room. And after that 9-ball, Ouschan has got no wiggle room in another sense. He's 3 racks behind with a possible 4 to play. No more leeway. Skyler Woodward in command of this quarterfinal at the Dafabet World Pool Masters. Will he convert? Find out after the break.
Rack 10. Skyler Woodward to break, leading 6 racks to 3.
That was Nigel Rees, our senior referee here at the Dafabet World Pool Masters, announcing the start of rack number 10 in this quarterfinal. It might be the last rack, you know, because Skyler Woodward is on the verge of victory.
No, he's looking for a window. And it's tight.
Tell you what though, Carl, the expression wasn't too negative as he looked down the line of that shot. I think maybe the one could possibly squeeze in. If not, he's being very stoic.
Yeah, he's having a good look, isn't he?
Normally when a player is just thwarted on a possible pot, they can't disguise their emotions, but there you can see, I think it will go.
Yeah, it does look like it goes from that angle. We're not quite
Extension called.
right behind it, but there's certainly an edge sticking out. But he kind of wants to play it with left-hand spin as well, because of where the 2-ball is sat. Because it's a bit risky if you try and come down the right-hand side of the table. He's kind of milked it a little bit. It went. And what it has done is it's given him this opportunity.
In years gone by, the world snooker champion Mark Williams gone off and he used to throw his arms in the air when he had got a pot on really and look as though he hadn't, and then eventually just get down and knock it in.
Yeah, so you're sat in your chair thinking, aye, aye.
It's quite funny actually, apart from if you're on the receiving end.
Now this is kind of key shot, just wants to make sure, it's not a difficult shot, just wants to make sure he leaves himself on the correct angle on the orange 5, because it's imperative. He gets on this 6-ball.
He was tapping his chalk on the side of the table there, trying to somehow stop the cue ball.
Yeah, he's got to just make sure he misses the 7 here. Yeah, he's played like a delayed screw back shot there, because I think natural angle was drawing it back into the brown 7. So it's a good shot.
I must say, Carl, and I don't want to preempt the verdict here, but hasn't he been impressive? His positional play in particular has been of the very highest order.
Yeah, it's been a very, very strong performance from Skyler, and you can just see he's so confident. He believes he can win this tournament. And I'm sure many other people do as well.
The semi-final lineup is complete. It won't be all European because Austria's Albin Ouschan has been defeated. Very impressively, one has to say, by the American Skyler Woodward. The final score, 7-3. So Woodward plays Kazakis, Kachi plays Al-Qaedi in the last 4 of the Dafabet World Pool Masters. It's brewing up beautifully here at the Tercentenary Hall in the Victoria Stadium in Gibraltar. Let's just go to a quick break.
Well, he was excellent when he finally got to play last night in the last 16, and he was excellent today in the quarter-finals. And it means that Skyler Woodward, after beating Albin Ouschan, is through to the last 4 coming up this evening. Skyler, congratulations to you. Do you feel now that you are in top form?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I got a little lucky there on the break. I kept getting kicked and I was getting shots still. No, I feel good. Playing a little faster than normal, but I feel comfortable, so just let it roll.
Is that what happens then? When you're feeling in good form, you naturally play faster. Is that what happens?
Yeah, if I feel good, I normally will play a little quicker because I'm like more confident than normal. So yeah, I play quicker when I feel good.
Are you playing better now than you were when you were MVP at the Mosconi Cup?
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten even a little better since then. I've won a couple big tournaments and practiced a lot, so yeah.
Well, Skyler, congratulations. You've got Alexander Kazakis in the last 4. We look forward to seeing you in action tonight. Well done. Right, so the quarterfinals are over. We now know the lineup for the semi-finals. David Al-Qaedi plays Eklund Kachi after Al-Qaedi beat Shane Van Boning and Kachi beat Alex Pagayalan. We've got Alexander Kazakis is through after thrashing Matt Edwards 7-1 in a wonderful performance, and an equally as wonderful performance with Skyler Woodward in that victory we've just seen, 7-3 against Albin Ouschan.